Support the Israelis and Jewish people.
My name is Yahya Mohammed. I'm 21 years old. I'm an Israeli. I'm an Arab.
Why do we keep repeating these Stone Age traditions that have failed us and continue to fail us?
Some people are so desperate for attention, they'll sell out their own faith, their own people, for a handful of change. We've talked about people like this before, but this is a whole new low. Imagine using Islam to back Zionism. That's exactly what Luai Ahmad, a Yemeni, is doing. This guy has made it his mission to wave the Israeli flag and somehow twist Islam to justify it. How does someone end up like this? And how far will he go just to be in the spotlight?
I support the Israelis and Jewish people.
His name might not ring a bell to you. That's because he's mainly active on X and Zionist propaganda platforms. But make no mistake, the individual is the new toy of the Israeli propaganda machine, and his content is being shared by many of the usual suspects, like Visegrad24. The thing is, Luai is trying to make the idea of supporting the Zionist state legitimate by trying to appear as a Muslim who supports Israel. Of course, the idea is not his, and it is something taken right from the playbook of his masters.
My name is Yahya Mohammed. I'm 21 years old. I'm an Israeli. I'm an Arab. I'm a Muslim. And I'm a proud soldier in the Israeli Defense Forces. I grew up in the Arab village of al-Fahm. I grew up in a country that I was taught to hate. But eventually I fell in love with Israel. I decided I wanted to give back to my country.
This propaganda video from the IDF contains many of the talking points of Luai, who is trying to show himself as a Muslim who supports Israel.
I'm an Arab Muslim who supports Israel. Let's see what people think about that.
Except, sadly for Luai, every word he regurgitated for his masters and every line they ordered him to bark is on record, allowing us to see his true views on Islam.
Why do we keep repeating these Stone Age traditions that have failed us and continue to fail us? The world has left us behind. The kuffar that our imams and books tell us to hate have traveled to the future, while we're still stuck in the Middle Ages, reading stories about Muhammad and his flying horse. You're watching this on your phone or your computer or tablet, created by these kuffars. The same kuffar that we hate so much have created most of the medicines that we use today. Medicine that our religion's crystal ball failed to bring about. The kuffar have moved forward and traveled into space. Meanwhile, we're stuck on Earth in the Middle Ages, going to our poisonous mosques every Friday.
Do not understand that the Islamic system is one of the reasons that the Middle East looks the way it is. It is why we run away from the Middle East, so to speak.
And his records on X does not help his case. Here are a few of his tweets that leave no doubt about his stance on Islam and his loyalty to the deen. If you think insulting Prophet Muhammad should be punished, you do not follow a religion of peace. You follow a sect of violence. Free the West and the Middle East from Islamo-fascism. It's insane for me as an Arab who grew up hating Israel to see and realize that Israel is fighting for the liberation of the Middle East from Islamist occupation. Quite the plot twist. The reality is that Luai hates Islam, what it teaches, and has no respect for the Quran and Sunnah. He worships the liberal, secular order, hates the hijab, and only puts on the token Muslim cap when it can serve his masters. Quite the irony. Depending on what they need from him, he hates on Islam or describes himself as a Muslim. The thing is, nobody is fooled by his nonsense. And like the many pro-Israeli accounts, they are known to be propaganda and only a waste of resources. The sad thing is how a few shekels can make a person turn their back to what is good and fully embrace evil. In one tweet, Luai describes how the oppressed and responsible for their oppression according to him. He writes, "Nothing sickens me more than calling October 7 justified resistance to liberate Palestine. Take a look at Gaza right now. Can you look Gazan children straight in the eye and tell them October 7 was worth it? Because it was done to free Palestine. It's sick." People thankfully were fast to respond with words that make sense. What's truly sick is selling your soul to the occupiers and spitting on your people's graves. Resistance is justified, but you're the one who chose to side with the butchers, all for a few shekels. But regardless how many people try to reason with Luai, he cannot simply turn his back on Zionism like he turned his back on Islam. Luai is not a free individual speaking his mind about a political issue. He's a propaganda tool on payroll. And he even almost exposed himself. Watch this.
And I think it started there, that started triggering my critical thinking. And sadly, now, being a host for a channel talking about peace and
You see how he froze and stopped himself? The truth was about to slip right out of his mouth. A true Muslim stands with his brothers and does not dismiss their suffering. A true Muslim does not take the disbelievers as allies against Muslims. And it is safe to say that the vast majority of Muslims know that. Such people who try to portray themselves as Muslims only to help their cause or gain money are easy to recognize. And they only have one purpose: keeping the Zionists at peace and feeding their bias so that they do not wake up to the truth.